President Donald Trump has reportedly decided on his nominee, with the finalists said to be federal judges Brett Kavanaugh and Thomas Hardiman. And Kavanaugh is emerging as the front-runner between the two. New York Times reporter Peter Baker tweeted, "Buzz at the U.S. courthouse in D.C. Brett Kavanaugh spotted leaving in a black sedan accompanied by 4 black SUVs with security agents presumed to be Secret Service, per source." Kavanaugh sits on the D.C. Circuit Court. And Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, "Liberals will be crying over the president's choice." Flash flood warning tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is not a joke. Liberal tears will be flowing like Niagara Falls when announces his second number SCOTUS pick. "Please take all necessary precautions and bring an inner tube or boogie board to ride this blue wave," he wrote Monday night. The president has made his decision, sources told the New York Times, but did not want to give away the pick before it is announced at the White House at 9 p.m. Trump had been deciding between Kavanaugh, the favorite of the White House counsel Don McGahn and many conservatives, and Hardiman, whom the president's sister Marianne Trump Berry has advocated for. White House staff are ready to hit the ground running as soon as the nominee to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy is revealed. In the following 2 days, staff have prepared a meticulous approach to define the nominee before opponents can do so and get a leg up on the opposition, an aide told Politico. Talking points will be circulated on Capitol Hill, and the White House is bringing aboard a high-profile, well-respected person to act as a Sherpa through the confirmation process, the same role former Republican Senator Kelly Ayotte, who was well-liked on Capitol Hill, played for Neil Gorsuch, the previous nominee whose success through the Senate the administration would like to replicate with their new choice. That Sherpa for the new nominee will be former Arizona Republican Senator John Kill, the White House announced Monday afternoon. Kill served on the Senate Judiciary Committee during the confirmations of 4 of the last 5 justices who have joined the Supreme Court. Those other 2 contenders were federal judges Amy Coney Barrett and Raymond Ketledge, who fell out of favor as the announcement date grew nearer. Share this article. Share. The president played his cards close to his vest during the process, keeping everyone guessing and the speculation flowing. All the contenders have strong conservative records from their time on the bench, confirming that Trump will shift the high court to the right with the retirement of Kennedy, who was often a swing vote. The president, a former reality TV star, is said to be enjoying the drama around his pick. And while he loves to gossip, the New York Times notes he can keep a secret when he wants to. The president has also stoked the fires of anticipation with a steady stream of tweets, the latest coming Monday morning. "I have long heard that the most important decision a U.S. president can make is the selection of a Supreme Court justice will be announced tonight at 9 o'clock p.m., he wrote. The president has indicated he understands the heavy weight his pick will carry on the future laws of the country. Honestly, if the Democrats would have won the election, first of all, you would have had a lot different. If you look at the last 4 decisions in the Supreme Court at 5-4, they would have all been reversed," he said on Fox News last week. And, when it comes down to it, the president may go with whom he feels personally comfortable. Trump is known for favoring the personal touch and likes to go with his gut. White House aides have often said the president prefers to go with his intuition, which is why, for example, he met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un personally in Singapore. The president is also working off a list of contenders that was put together, in part, by the Conservative Federalist Society, meaning whomever Trump picks will have passed an ideology test, giving the president more freedom on the personality of the choice. Also weighing in the back of Republicans' minds is the looming midterm election. The timing of the confirmation vote could come right before voters go to the polls in November, and the results could hand control of the Senate to Democrats. Each party could use the nominee as a rallying cry to stoke the fires of their base. Whomever gets named Monday night will have to be confirmed by the Republican-controlled Senate, which may not be as easy as it sounds. Republicans hold a scant one-vote majority in the upper chamber, and with Senator John McCain out battling brain cancer, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell cannot afford to lose a single GOP vote. The nominee needs 51 votes to be confirmed. Simple math tells you, if John McCain is absent, it's a 50-49th Senate. One Republican senator can decide the fate of any Supreme Court nominee, Democratic Sen. Dick Durbin said on NBC's Meet the Presses on Sunday morning. McConnell is said to be having doubts that Kavanaugh could get confirmed. Kavanaugh has a long judicial history for both Republicans and Democrats to pick through during the confirmation process. He was also a lawyer on Ken Starr's team that investigated Bill Clinton. He also argued Clinton, a sitting president, could be impeached for lying to his staff and misleading the public, which could hurt Trump if it would apply to him as part of the Russia investigation being conducted by special counsel Robert Mueller. Kavanaugh, who worked in the Bush White House after his time with Starr, later expressed misgivings about the toll investigations take on presidents, The New York Times reported. In 2009, Kavanaugh wrote that Clinton should have been spared the investigation while he was in office. Indicting a sitting president, he wrote, would ill serve the public interest, especially in times of financial or national security crisis. That controversial history could give Democrats an opportunity to delay the confirmation vote into October, when the Supreme Court's new term begins and when the midterm election is looming ahead. Moderate Republican Sens. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski will be the votes to watch during the confirmation process, as will 3 red state Democratic senators who voted to confirm Gorsuch: Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, and Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota. Kavanaugh, an appointee of President George W. Bush, clerked at the Supreme Court for Kennedy. He was also a prosecutor under independent counsel Kenneth Starr, who investigated President Bill Clinton. The Yale-educated appellate court judge for the District of Columbia recently wrote a dissent when his colleagues allowed an immigrant teen in U.S. custody to have an abortion. The 53-year-old was the White House staff secretary under President George W. Bush from 2003 until 2006, but his long record has led to mixed reports about his standing in Trump's mind. Some say the president likes Kavanaugh's all-American looks. An example is a photograph of Kavanaugh that is circulating online and in the media. In it, Kavanaugh is being sworn to the United States Court of Appeals for the D. D.C. Circuit by Justice Anthony Kennedy, while his wife, Ashley, dressed in a pale pink suit and pearls, holds the Bible. "It looks all-American," a source told Politico of the picture, which is said to be something that appeals to the president. But the president is all said to be struggling to get past the Bush family connection. Trump and Jeb Bush fought each other hard during the 2016 Republican presidential primary, and, in recent days, the president has mocked former President George H.W. Bush's 1,000 points of light. Hardiman, 53, has a personal story that is said to appeal to the president, and on Sunday it emerged Trump was taking a fresh look at him. Hardiman was the first person in his family to finish college, graduating from Notre Dame. His father was a cab driver, and Hardiman continued the family business while putting himself through Georgetown Law School. He also speaks fluent Spanish, studied abroad in Mexico, and volunteered at the AUDA, an immigration legal aid office in Washington, D.C. He became a federal district judge at 37 and was appointed to the Third Circuit in 2007. Hardiman has sided with jails seeking to strip search inmates arrested for even minor offenses and has supported gun rights, which conservatives like. He dissented in a 2013 case that upheld a New Jersey law to strengthen requirements for carrying a handgun in public. A Massachusetts native, Hardiman settled in Pittsburgh, where his wife comes from a family of prominent Democrats. He also has the Trump family blessing the endorsement of the president's sister Marianne Trump Berry. Hardiman served on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals with her. Hardiman was also a finalist on the president's last Supreme Court shortlist when Trump ended up nominating Gorsuch. But there is one hot-button issue that Hardiman has not weighed in on in a judicial setting: abortion. The lack of a paper trail on the controversial issue could help him in the confirmation process, as there would not be a record for Democrats to pick through during questioning. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer took to Twitter Sunday afternoon to slam Hardiman's credentials. Thomas Hardiman is a judge on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals and on Real Donald Trump's pre-approved list for SCOTUS noms, having passed his litmus tests on overturning Roe v. Wade and striking down critical protections in our healthcare system, he wrote.